Yo, I'm back. I ain't never had this angle before. Like really just sitting and just camera. Tough. I'm too distant from our living community. I'm gonna get depth into this. So the concept of men and women automatically collide with each other because the environment that we keep giving is that you gotta disrespect the woman, you gotta disrespect the man, and the only true woman and men are those who just shut up and keep going through it. So men and women are going against each other because personally I could just let it flow. With a woman I gotta think about it or act. So with men I'm gonna say one of the biggest things men battle with mental health. Now I know it's gonna be a woman out there. Women battle mental health, which women battle mental health too. I get that. We are flowing. We're not skipping. We're flowing. Flow it. The community label of a man, from what I've seen so far, you can't talk as a man. You just gotta keep going through it. Like if they cut off your legs, you still gotta walk. You feel me? Like that right there don't make sense to me. But we put women, but as men gotta do that, the men reverse and look at women and do the same thing. With a woman, she has to just say F it and deal with everything that the man does and still be feminine and still like do a lot of like women things. I can't fully speak on it, but she still have to be a woman but still be abused, right? So now you see the connection, right? Where it connects, where both of them goes through pain but they still got to keep going on. That's the conflict, because the connection is that the man and woman, you get it? Men and women supposed to be bondful. They supposed to, everything about them supposed to connect. It's not necessarily like everything, but they supposed to connect. The fact that most of us barely connect with the next human being that we see on a day-to-day basis shows how this title of men and women is not used. It's not used in the correct term. But if we really speak upon realness, we're really living in a reality of boys and girls. One, there's no community anymore. We all just live together. Listen to me. Your neighbor, most of us have neighbors, talk to our neighbor, say hey or something like that. But do you really know your neighbor? Have you ever sat down and really conversated with your neighbor? And if you have, go one more house down. Go one more town down. Like you live, like right now, right? I'm gonna say I live in Chicago, right? Every person in Chicago, I don't know. You don't see me going out my way to go say hey to everybody, right? So that right there shows that there's either a lack of community or a lack of self-motivation in me or a lack of social skills in me, right? But if there's a lack of social skills or community in one person, that means the community should overflow, right? Take a glass, put it in the ocean, and I'll bring it back up. It should come up full. It should. Yeah, like if it doesn't, hey, something wrong with the water of the glass. But you should be able to bring it back up. I'm the cup. The ocean is my community. So me living in Chicago, if I'm not social, if I'm not part of a community, or if I'm like, not a community living in Chicago, and Chicago supposed to be a community, no matter what, everybody around me is supposed to help me up to get to the community level, right? There's no community level. And if there is, it's very down. It's very I wouldn't say demonic, because I personally believe there's no such thing. But I believe that we are, I don't necessarily know too much about frequencies and vibration, but from what I hear, we are on a low frequency, because all of us will, not all of us, but majority of us will purposely stay low because, again, the community thing. Like, again, I just said, put me, the glass, into the ocean, the community. I should fill up. But say if I don't fill up, every time I go down and I come up, I don't fill up. Like that right there shows that there's something. There's something, like in my mental state, there's something that's puzzling me. Why that glass not filling? If I'm in the ocean and that glass going under that water, why that glass not getting no water in? And this is what I'm saying. Like going back to the men and the women thing, right? Like with the community thing, Like back in the day, I used to hear a lot. Back in the day, even movies that you hear, back in the day, they used to have women really be women in like groups. Like if it's a woman right here and a group of men, or like, listen, it could be 5 people, nah, 10, 5 men, five women, 5 women, yes. And then they'll be in a relationship. It'd be all of them in a room and all of them be separated. Back in the day, the women over here and the men over here, when it's time to come together, they all in the middle of the room. The room is controlled by everyone, not a single person. Nowadays, everyone is believing. Believe is not bad, but who believes the most? Children. Again, goes back to the boys and girls. I'm pretty sure we haven't evolved. The generation before mine, or like a couple of before, when they was in high school, they was way more grown up. As you could say, they look more mature and everything, even though they was like 14, 15, 16, right? We are reaching our 20s and we still look like kids. Yeah, like, hey, you got good genes and you looking good. But how is that so potent? How is that so accurately happening from couple, like literally one birth to your birth, one birth away? How that work? Just to keep you going with the video. Again, this is what I'm saying with the men and women. There's I believe right now we don't necessarily know what a man or a woman is, because if you go to a person and say what a man or a woman is, how much you bet most of it is gonna be hard work. Most of it's gonna be just keep going or something like that. If a man or a woman was only connected by or separated by keep going, how is there 2 different things? Because then there must be just one. If we all supposed to do the same thing, but our bodies function different. But again, like this is just like my right now examples, because later on my brain gonna grow and change. But right now, I personally believe that the real conversations that we actually have to talk about is that none of us is actually growing. Like if we talking about maturity, how many young people when they was kids was saying, oh yeah, you're mature for your age, or you're growing up fast, or this and this. And now we're reaching a point where we are now mature and growing up. Now we are acting like kids. Don't that mean we moving backwards? Don't that mean when we was younger we was in a situation where we had to live, but now that we're getting older, we're in a situation that we can now live and be free? Don't the kids supposed to be like one of the kid? I believe a kid and a old person is supposed to be the most freest thing. I'm starting to realize that there's something bigger going on, and we're just being fed a division. Like there was this saying, I don't know where it's from, but the saying was basically saying like not a saying, it was like divide and conquer. The white man used it a lot, to divide and then conquer, right? Why does everything we do on a day-to-day basis, or any choice that we make, always have 2 options? And if you be like, oh, it's a 3rd option, it's a 4th option, why does every option that comes after 2 options are always continuations of the first 2 options? So with this video, I'm saying like there's something that we're being fed that we don't know nothing about. The battle that we are currently facing, well, most people that I see, is men and women. Like our you could say gender, because it was so simple, just 2 genders. Hey, I came out and I got a different thing between my legs than you. So this thing that I see, this is a me. This right here, this is a woman. You feel me? That was the most simple. Why nowadays I could be 5 years old and just say, you know what, I want to be a toaster. How does that work? How does that work? How can you say, you know what, I'm nothing? How does that work? Like freedom is yes, but when you take freedom and give it into that same analogy that I said with the division, don't that clearly shows that we're still being directed? We're being shepherded? Shepherded. Is that a word? Shepherded. But again, this video should be around 4 to 5 minutes, but editing is gonna go lower. But again, main topic of this, I did start with men and women, I switched, but as I keep talking about it, I'm starting to really settle, and I'm gonna end with this. We're most likely fighting a war, a battle, or anything from someone else's motivation. Cause one thing, working, right? How do we go from trading and working as a community to then proceeding to go into business or go into a job and all this other stuff? A lot of these things have put us so far down that, again, we are not living the life that we're supposed to live. We're not fighting the fight we're supposed to fight. We are doing something that someone else wants us to do. I hope y'all get to hear this end of the video. There's I wouldn't say 100% chance, because freedom is too much freedom. So, you feel me? But there's a 80% chance, I'm gonna go higher, 99% chance that we're living someone else's life and they're living our life. I fully believe that. Fully believe that with my heart. But I'm gonna see y'all later. Stay smooth.